Chapter 5. Invisible Terrors. Prudence walked to the stove, poured another cup of her tea and returned to the table. She clutched her mug between both hands and inhaled the fragrance of the soursop tea. She took 3 sips and rested her mug on the table. She watched Constance as she dried utensils and put them away in their correct place. "I am listening to you, Constance," she said, causing Constance to pause and glance at her. "What were you saying about your dream?" She took another sip of her tea and waited. "About the dream?" Constance asked. She closed drawer after drawer. After she'd closed the last drawer, she turned to face Prudence. She massaged her temples as if she were squeezing out the dream. "The dream," she murmured. "What I dream again. I dream so many things and I forget some of them as soon as I wake. They say dreams are things that we're thinking about when we are awake. I swear that some of the things I dream about have nothing to do with what I am thinking about when I am awake. They too strange. What about you, Prudence? You have any strange dreams of late?" "I can't remember if I did. Haven't had a dream in a while. I dream and forget just like you," Prudence said, and sipped her tea, while watching Constance. "Oh, I don't forget this one," Constance said. "By the way, what we going to have for dinner? I feel like having some stew peas. I have everything here to make it. What you say about that? Stew peas and white rice, although they say too much white rice not good for you. They say that meat is not good either. If you follow everything they say, you wouldn't eat a thing." She pulled the curtains aside and peered outside. "That dog might as well tell everybody that him live here. Him spend every waking minute here. You think if Cousin Rose was feeding him he would come here? Come here every day to antagonize the poor cat. Look at his face. Long and narrow just like Cousin Rose's face. Go home, dog," she shouted at Rover. "Woof woof," Rover replied, then flipped on his back. Constance turned back to Prudence. "If you didn't keep on feeding that confounded dog he wouldn't take up residence up here. But you don't listen to me when I talk. You see me. I learn from my mistakes. I stop being kind to man and beast. Do your best for them and they take advantage of you. Out there scratching himself now." She started to measure the peas for her stew peas. "1 cup should do for both of us. I am not cooking for the world and him wife." Prudence glanced at her. She was tired of telling her to cook a bit extra, because they might have visitors. They should eat at their yard before they visit, Constance always said. Prudence prayed that visitors would stay away until she cooked. She smiled into her mug. Since she didn't plan to cook anything any time soon, visitors had better stay away. "And you know what I forgot?" Constance threw the question at Prudence. "The dream?" Prudence asked. "That, too," Constance said. "But I forgot to tell you that I plan to go out tomorrow. I don't feel well from the other day. I don't exactly know what is wrong with me, but I know that it not good." Prudence frowned. "I know a woman who can help me," Constance continued. "Remember I told you about her? She helped me before. Everything she told me was true. She has a little church down the country. All kinds of people go to her. She is really good. I going to see her tomorrow. I leaving early in the morning, so when you wake up you won't see me. I should be back before night." Prudence stared at Constance, squeezed her cup and flexed her toes in her shoes underneath the table. "I don't know who, but somebody gave me the sore that I had. No matter which doctor I went to, none of them could help me. Sore rise up. Sore disappear. You ever see anything like that before? Since I find that woman, my leg back to normal." She raised her skirt to show Prudence her left thigh with the dull scar mid-thigh. "She told me clear that it was a friend who sprinkles some powder at my doorstep and I walk over it. If you was here it would catch you, too. Why the woman never tell you the name of the person who did it?" Prudence asked, the same question that she'd asked her the first time she'd told her that story. "These people are nothing but scammers. They only take your money and send you home to hate your neighbor. Say what you want about them, but you need to go check out yourself, too," Constance urged her, her gaze intent. Prudence laughed and immediately clamped her hands over her mouth. She'd forgot that she shouldn't laugh. Constance was serious and she was there taking her concerns lightly. "I am sorry I laughed, Prudence said, trying to appease her. You can laugh if you want to laugh, Constance said, her voice rising. Do you know how much I suffer at the hands of these people in this community? No, you don't, because you had the good fortune to leave here when you did. She sat across from Prudence and rocked herself from side to side. If it was not for God's grace, I don't know where I would be today, she intoned. I say like the psalmist, David, I will lift up mine eyes to the hills from whence cometh my help. Prudence listened as Constance recited Psalm 121 as if she were a preacher exhorting a congregation. Her fair face beamed. Although she had turned 65 in June, her face was almost free of wrinkles, except when she frowned and furrowed her brow or when she smiled and the lines beside her nose and mouth deepened. Constance finished her recitation and closed her eyes. So, I dream a big, black snake in my room last night. It was trying to get into my bed. I jumped up and down in the bed and screamed out my lungs, but nobody came to help me. You ever have one of those dreams that feel so real but when you wake up you realize that it was only a dream? That was me last night. I was sure that I wake up the whole community, but when I opened my eyes, my door was locked and rain was falling. You know that rainfall last night? Heavy rain. You. Constance, the dream, Prudence interrupted her. She wasn't in the mood for any more of Constance's digressions. Constance started to wring her hands. Prudence could almost see the thoughts running around in her head. She seemed to be staring at something just behind her. Prudence resisted the urge to look but lifted her feet off the floor and placed them on the slats on the side of the chair. As if reading her mind, Constance said, You know that snakes can climb? Prudence plopped her feet back on the floor. What was wrong with Constance? Snake is evil, Constance said. Huh? Prudence asked, trying to follow the detours of Constance's mind. When you dream snake it mean that something bad going to happen, Constance said. I wonder what bad thing is about to happen. I told you over and over and over again that we shouldn't trust anybody. Bad things in the world, Prudence. You can stay there and don't believe, but I won't stay here and allow them to work on me. They try to send evil into the house, but it has no place here. You hear me? It has no place here, she said, and banged her hands on the table. You said they tried to put evil in the house. Who? Prudence asked, trying to suppress her annoyance. How should I know who? Constance snapped. Just wicked people. So what happened to the snake? Prudence asked. She was tired of Constance's preoccupation with the potential threat that loomed over them from the wicked people in the village, the ones who were working on them, the ones who didn't mean them any good. People didn't have anything better to do than to send Snake to visit Constance. There must be easier ways to do them mischief if people really wanted to hurt them. Constance had just had a dream, a simple dream, but as usual, she was trying to interpret it her way. You know I don't dream Mama in years. I dream her last night. Constance's voice butted into Prudence's thoughts. After I screamed, she appeared in the room. She fight the snake and chase it through the door. She just appear then disappear. Why she didn't say something to me? They say when you dream old dead it mean new dead. Wonder who going to die? I hear that Mass Nate not doing too well. And him not young. It could be any one of us, Prudence said. We not young either. I hope it is not me, Constance said. I not ready to go yet.